Yo, what up YouTube gang? I'm Jay Pats, and this week we're going to be discussing mixing your boom bap beats and just getting them to sound good, loud, crispy. I just wanted to make a quick disclaimer though. Keep in mind, I'm not a professional mix engineer by any means. I'm just sharing the knowledge I have, and if you like how my beats sound, this is what I do to get them to sound like that. So first, let me just show you a preview of the beat, and then we'll just jump right into it. I want to try keep this just as simple as possible because, like I say in all my videos, I keep all my beats simple from every aspect. And another thing you need to keep in mind is when you mix in these beats, if you like sending them out and you want to get a bigger artist on them, you're not necessarily going to be the one mixing the record. So all you have to do is get the beat sounding good enough for a rapper to be inspired enough to rap on it and for it to compete with other beats that they being sent in terms of loud. So with that being said, this isn't going to be like a super technical tutorial and showing you how a real mix engineer would mix your beat. This is just from a producer perspective. In my opinion, the low end is probably the most problematic for people, and I think it would take up the most amount of space in the mix, so that's kind of what I like to start with. So that means getting a good level for the kick and getting a good level for the bass. So mixing just comes down to leveling, EQ, reverb, delays, and not much else. That's again, from the producer perspective. Just need it to sound good, hit hard, and get an artist to write on it. You know, the mix engineer is going to mix it. So for every beat, I like to leave headroom. So what that means is like 6 to 10 dB of headroom before adding any volume on the master channel. First, I start with the kick. One of the loudest sounds in the beat is going to already just be hitting super low, and then I can add the gain I need. I'm going to bring the bass and just find a level that they balance each other out with. If you don't know how to do this, just bring it to 0. That's what I like doing, and then bring it up till it sounds like they're at a good level together. Sometimes what I'll do is bring it too loud so I could hear what too loud sounds like. And that sounds pretty good to me. Another thing I did with the bass is I just added this stock Ableton saturator. You could do any saturator and just soft clipped it 1 dB as a soft sine wave. So without that, it sounds like this. Just adds a little warmth and volume to it. Next, we have that kind of taken care of. With the bass, it has room, you know, kick has room, they hit in well together. So now we have the loudest sounds already mixed together, sounding good, and I still have 8 dB of headroom, so we're in a really good direction right now. Now I'm just gonna add all the other sounds in, and this is just leveling, like it's nothing crazy. So snare, you could hear that's like too loud, so I'm gonna bring it back down to where I thought was good. Hi-hats, next, same thing. See, you can hear that's too loud if you bring it up a bunch. And I like taking it too loud, like I said, because it just gives you perspective of, okay, like, yeah, that's clearly way too loud, so let me bring it down until it sounds like it's at a good level again. And I do that all the time. With the snare, I actually didn't touch on this with the kick either. As you can see, the only effects I put on the kick is mono, so I just made sure it's mono, and then a soft clipper from T-Rex. And I put that on every drum sound, which will kick, snare, and hat, and I don't think that's a good idea because I could have just grouped these together and put it on as an effect and only had the CPU taking up one of those plugins instead of 3. But anyway, I also had it on for that and then just EQ'd some harsh frequencies. I'm like super sensitive to this, but I always find around like probably anywhere from like 5 to 10K, the snare will sometimes have a sound that I just don't like. So I EQ that out. And same with the hats. Then it's just continue. All I'm really doing is leveling, EQ, soft clipping, reverb, panning, delays. And I don't even know if I have reverb and delays on this beat. I'm gonna just continue bringing in the layers of the drums. Let's do these hats. You could hear that's clearly too loud. And I just EQ'd that, and then one trick I actually did here was put sidechain compressors on the hats just to give them some bounce. All right, so tambourine, we're gonna do the same thing and just bring it up slowly. And this is all taste, how loud you want certain things. I kind of want these to be in the background. That's why you can see they so low. And then I also did a little bit of panning to the right and left of the live hats and the tam, just so that they're not all in the center. All right, and then this final hat. Again, see, just keeping it mad simple. EQing for the most part on most of these sounds. It's frequencies I don't like. Alright, so one thing I find with producers is that they'll add effects just because they think they have to, like a compressor, for example, and it's like you don't even know how the thing functions, so why are you putting it on there? Everything you add to your beat should be there with purpose and add something to it. If it's not adding in a positive way or way that's helping the beat, take it off. You don't need it. Another thing to keep in mind is sample packs are such high quality nowadays that a lot of the sounds are mixed for you. You just got to do the leveling. So that's basically what I'm showing you here. Next is crash. Okay, so I think you get the idea for the drums. I've showed you enough of those. Just the drums and bass together. And then lastly, we just need to fill up the space with the melody or the sample, whatever you're using. For me, it's a sample. So that's pretty much it. Again, like you can see, all I have on here is an EQ and then just spectrum and tuner so I could see the frequencies. This helps because if I look at the frequencies, I can see there's like a lot of low end in here, and I don't necessarily want that because I already have my own low end right here. If you don't get rid of those frequencies, it's going to cause issues between the bass because they're sitting in the same area. That's why I like to have a spectrum analyzer on my beats, is because you're going to start seeing like visually, oh, that's why my beats sound bad, because there's things colliding in the low end, or there's things colliding at 1K, or whatever it is, any frequency that can be troublesome or like resonant. Again, same thing here. So that's why I cut out lows at like 280, not the sharpest curve. So watch, I don't know if you can hear this, but if I take this low end cut off, then you'll hear how the bass and the sample kind of sound like they collide in. Here's with it on. Now if I take it off, you can hear there's like two low-end sounds trying to fight with each other. So that's just going to result in a bad master at the end when you try to turn everything up. So yeah, to find the volume that I want of the chops, it's the same exact idea. You just bring it up from 0. And then let's go too loud. Yeah, it's all just balance, you know, you don't want too much of anything, really. It's just level it out and EQ. And then, yeah, these chops are pretty much the same thing. What I did do here is turn these chops up 3 dB louder because they went down an octave. But if I go back to this, naturally, you'll hear they sound like a pretty good level to each other. Just usually I find when you go down like an octave, a sound's gonna feel softer because it's more of that low end, which is, I guess, harder for your ears to hear or speakers to reproduce. So that's just the thought process behind that. And yeah, just these riser effects again, just bring the levels up and see what feels right. And then my tag. So at this point you have a beat that sounds really good, it's mixed well. Now you're like, okay, well, how do I get it loud, like industry standard stuff? And the answer is keep it simple. Again, like keep it simple. There's so many tools for this. There's like, I know Ozone has a thing, I think it's called Elements or something. Neutron Elements, I think. I might be wrong, but that's actually a pretty solid one. For me, I'm just gonna go stock with Ableton and just soft clip the master, because again, like I'm telling you, I like to keep stuff as simple as possible. Yeah, I literally just have a limiter that can soft clip on the masters. So watch. And yeah, another thing to keep in mind, I do keep the limiter peaking at -0.5 just so that it's not peaking at 0. Oh, one more thing to keep in mind. So one of the reasons I think it's good to leave headroom is because when you send in stems to like a real professional mix engineer, for example, it's ideal if they have headroom so that they can mix it. I don't know if every producer does this, but my practice is, and I think they appreciate this, is that I like to take the master off and then stem everything out. So when I play it, they have 6 dB to work with and not everything's just smushed together already so that they can't do their job. Yeah, so hopefully there's some helpful content in this video that'll help you stop overthinking mixing and mastering and will just simplify the process for you. If so, please don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell because it really helps out the channel and just kind of keeps me motivated to keep on making videos for you guys. I appreciate all of you for tapping in. I'm Jay Pats. Peace.